Critical thinking helps us recognize fake news, find the most effective solutions, and avoid costly mistakes. But how do we develop this skill, and why is it so important in IT? Let's find out together. For example, you've likely encountered situations where you need to choose between multiple technologies, software solutions, or frameworks. Instead of blindly following trends or GitHub stars, critical thinking allows you to analyze the pros and cons of each option, assess their suitability for your project, and make an informed decision. Let's imagine a situation. Your team is building a new e-commerce marketplace. There is an option for you which database to implement, traditional SQL database or modern NoSQL database. What would you do? How would you approach this choice? Think about it, and I'll tell you my story behind this choice a bit later. Now let's talk about how to develop critical thinking. First of all, it's important to understand that this is not just a skill you can learn overnight. It's a continuous process that requires practice and willingness to question everything you see and hear. Here are some my tips for you. Prepare a list of questions or criteria for each choice. Build a table where rows are questions, columns are options, and cells are answers to the questions. For example, pricing or licensing fees, skills required to implement, efforts needed to implement, adoption by the community, availability of examples and documentation, and so on. Ask yourself and all project stakeholders about the importance of each factor. Customers, sponsors, managers, developers, and users very rarely put the same factor in the first place. For example, developers want to use modern technologies just to satisfy their need in learning something new. Sponsors at the same time are looking for ready-to-use off-the-shelf solution. Users prefer to use well-known solutions where they don't need to learn again and again how to use a new solution. Use multiple sources of information. Don't rely on just one source. Probably it is that sales guy who sold you this technology. Go and ask people who already bought it and implemented it. Does it work as promised? Are there any troubles with that? Let's return to the example we discussed earlier. Which database system should we choose for an e-commerce marketplace? 10 years ago, as a project manager, I chose the MongoDB NoSQL database over MySQL database. Why? Because MongoDB was a new technology and I wanted to try to work with it. I didn't consider the factors that MongoDB wasn't mature at that time and that we lacked experienced engineers who worked with it, and that it missed important features which we needed to implement our e-commerce solution. And eventually we encountered lots of implementation issues which led to bugs and rework, and eventually we refactored the solution to use a traditional PostgreSQL database. Such a waste of time and money. Don't do it like me. Don't select a solution by the number of GitHub stars or because you heard about it yesterday at a big tech conference. It may be a trap. If you have done your analysis and concluded that some solution isn't suitable, that's not a failure. It shows that you can make informed decisions and be prepared for all challenges while integrating this solution. Use critical thinking in software engineering to save time and money. It's your best weapon in a world where lots of vendors compete to sell their solution so they can increase their profits. And in most cases, they don't care if you have troubles after the deal is closed. Thank you for joining us today. In the next video, I'll talk about how to involve team members in the decision-making process. Don't forget to subscribe to our podcast. Like it, leave comments, share it, ask questions, and propose topics. And don't miss our next episode where we'll talk about the skills that help you succeed in IT. See you soon. Bye.